Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. Today we have a Gold 4 Moira main player who writes that they are trying to climb up into Diamond ranks so that they can play with some friends. And they preface their note with saying that they play on a controller. So the first thing before we delve in any further into this, if you're trying to play a competitive shooter on the computer, Overwatch, Valorant, anything, it does not matter what game. If it's a competitive shooter, you need to get familiar with a keyboard and mouse. There is no exceptions to that whatsoever outside of if you're just going to play Mercy. And even then, I would still say you need to be on a keyboard and mouse. There is absolutely nobody that plays at a high level that would tell you to play on a controller unless you're playing casually. But if you're playing casually, you should not be in the competitive game mode. So the first point, before we even get to the end, where I usually do a list of 3 to 5 points of improvement, the number one is getting off of the controller and getting on a keyboard and mouse. Moira does not matter. Mercy, none of the support. It does not matter what support you're trying to play. It doesn't matter what hero you're trying to play in the game. Get on a keyboard and mouse. Number one. That's number one. Number two, if you're trying to climb in ranked and play, once you start getting into diamond tier level games, with the way the matchmaking is right now, you'll be playing with a mixture of all kinds of different people that were like former top 500 people, former Masters players. You'll probably even get gold players in your games occasionally. Until matchmaking gets evened out a bit, and it seems like they have evened it out to some extent. So I don't really know if you're going to be going up. Like, say, for example, if you're in gold, I don't know if you'll really be seeing diamond players as much anymore, but for a while that was definitely happening. But I have not noticed that in the last week or so, so they may have changed that to some extent. But what I have noticed from playing on another account that is in diamond, I am playing with Masters and former top 500 players in diamond games. So with that said, if you're trying to get into the role or the rank of diamond, Moira is not the best hero to be trying to learn. Their utility drops off of a cliff once you get past, I'd say, upper tier platinum. You can definitely make Moira work in gold, and you can definitely make her work in platinum. Once you get into diamond, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get value out of Moira compared to all of the other supports out there. Moira is not in the meta in terms of the support role. Basically, what the meta is at the moment is Mercy, Ana, and Kiriko. Those three are the primary three supports to be getting good at the moment. Now, that could change if Sojourn gets another nerf. That's the primary one driving Mercy. And Kiriko, if her E cleansing ability gets a nerf, then she might fall out of the meta. But until those two situations get adjusted, if they get adjusted, probably will to some extent. I don't know how much to which, but until those two get adjusted, those two will stay up there. And in terms of Ana, it's the anti-nade, and I think that's pretty much here to stay in terms of what I've been hearing in terms of upcoming balance changes. I don't expect that being changed or anything, so Ana's always going to be up there. Now, if you're playing on a controller, you probably could make Mercy work into probably plat level, and then you'd probably start struggling once you start getting into like upper tier plat. You would not be able to play Ana or Kiriko on a controller in a PC environment anywhere past low gold, if even that. I would honestly think that that's probably even asking too much of somebody on a controller, frankly. I guess what I would be suggesting to you is reconsider who you want to be maining, because you said you play Brig on the side. Brig is situationally either the worst or the second worst support in the game at the moment, and Moira's probably like the third worst. She can put up some stats, but she lacks in the avenues that make the other supports just frankly better. So we can definitely go over this game here, and we'll see how your Moira plays out. But I'm gonna highly recommend you start looking into a keyboard and mouse setup for you here. So let's get into this. In terms of team comp, anyway, they are not running Ana, so Kiriko's not required. I would suggest here playing Ana. Ana would be a good hero to play. And the other one I would suggest would be Bap. I think Bap would work out quite well here as well for the healing on the Ramatra. Having the invulnerability, Ana for the antis, which they can't do anything about, and then nanoing a ulting Ramatra can definitely be advantageous. So let's get into it. Too far forward up into that Ramatra who's in their punch formation, they would be able to throw a lot of damage your way for being up this far. You already took one punch, but it looks like your team kind of dove in and distracted them, and now you're safe for the time being. So your Ramatra's on the wrong side of that shield for you to be able to heal them. Staying more by the steps right there. Those steps, that's probably would have been your best bet to keep everybody healed. The other thing you could have done is maybe bounced a orb off of that pillar, a healing orb. That would have maybe helped a little bit, but it probably just would have delayed the inevitable, unless that shield goes down or it times out or something.
Now, to start anew. This time.
So I like what you did there where you throw the healing orb out without doing the spray. Don't waste your ammo of your spray on a heal that your orb can just take care of, and then save it for when people start taking damage and the team fight really starts to engage. So I do definitely like that line of thought. But see, right there, this is a good example of why you don't play on a controller. Look at this movement. Like, we feel, while watching this, we feel the full circle. Or half circle, rather. But we have to actually go all the way through the whole thing to get there. If you're on a mouse, you can swing that speed around so much faster, and your reaction time will be so much better.
Reforming you. Receive my aid.
So I'm fine with you going a little on the DPS heavy side there. Just don't forget to heal teammates. Your Cassidy's very low. Like, about like halfway into your DPS mode, start kind of just looking around at your teammates to see if any of them need healing. Don't get too sucked into the Moira suck. Make sure that your team doesn't need healing throughout all that.
A taste of poison.
Careful not to frontline on your support. Okay, that was a good pick. Yeah, the orbs don't do anything to the turrets. Heal your Junkrat.
Hello there.
Hello.
I am ready to unleash coalescence.
Take everything from them.
I require assistance. Be nourished. Gale the Mahal. Surrender to my will.
Okay, so I like what you did there. Before you ult, you throw an orb out, and then you engage your ultimate. So the one thing I like to cover when it comes to Moira, when you're about to ult, if you know you're going to be a little bit more on the DPS heavy side, throw out a healing orb. If you think you're going to be more on the healing side, maybe throw out a damage orb or a healing orb. Just depends on how much healing your team needs. Like if your team's like really low, maybe a healing orb and ulting and healing might be required, but it's good what you did there. You threw the orb out and then you ulted, so you're getting maximum value out of everything you can possibly be doing at the time. However, this felt early to me. Like they're not really engaged yet. They're kind of they're about to engage, but if you hold this for another couple seconds, then you've got the Moira to burn down, then you've got a DPS to burn down. Instead, all you're really doing is throwing it into a tank, and they're already back to full health again. And now he's ulting, and now imagine if you had your ultimate, you might be able to feed the tank into fighting this a bit. Odds are once this enemy Ramatra ults, you're all just going to have to run off the point until it times out and then retake the point after his ultimate dies out. And that's even if you guys can do it. And this goes into the utility of what Moira provides versus some of the other supports. Because like, say for example, you had Lucio, you could speed your team out and then wait for the ultimate to die from the enemy Ramatra. If you got BAP, you could throw your lamp down when they're low and then heal them back up. Kiriko with her ultimate would have been good there if she had it. Cleansing, that sort of thing. There's just, you get a lot more value out of different support heroes than what Moira can potentially be bringing to the table. So yeah, little DPS heavy there, wasn't necessary. You could have been healing the Junkrat. Your both DPS are down, so at this point it's back out and wait for your team to oh god. So okay, I don't like this because the Ramatra's ulting and he's super low. The only good thing is he's got you and the Mercy pocketing him because that's all that's left. So you guys got to throw everything you've got into this Ramatra so that this ultimate burns them down. And it's possible if you almost got your healing orb. So the second you got that, I want to see that go out there and you holding your left click. Well, I don't know what it is on a controller, but on a mouse, it's a left click down on this Ramatra, and hopefully he can stay alive. Good with the orb. Just keep healing. Keep healing. Good, good, good. Alright. Yeah, that's good decision making on your part. You and the Mercy made that happen. With the Ramatra ulting, without you guys, that would not have been a one fight. So we can see that your aim is suffering being on a controller here just based off of your movement. Like if you're on a mouse, trying to get that Moira into your crosshair would have been so much easier. Instead, you're trying to strafe her into it. And this is why controller is not superior in any way, shape, or form to a keyboard and mouse in a competitive shooter. And I'll continue to point this out as we see it on what is kind of holding you back by being on a controller. Okay, team comp wise, what changed? You got a sim now. Aside from that, pretty much the same thing. And so they're running Farah, and you guys don't have a hit scan. So BAP could be good here. Anna could be good here. I'd say BAP Anna still could definitely be good here just to deal with the Farah. But otherwise, Moira could work. But see, right here, you just frontlined yourself for no reason at all. That's poor positioning. You got hyper focused on trying to burn down a Farah that you can't really do anything to, and then you got yourself killed for it.
Another day, another battlefield.
Sojourn en route.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
Now I'm gonna say here too, playing BAP on a controller against keyboard and mice players, this will be interesting to me just to see how you do on him. So I don't know how easy or hard it is to try to level out your aim. That was a good shot though on the Farah. But trying to aim for headshots when you've got a tank that close to you should be something you should be going for. BAP can output quite a bit of damage, but you got to be landing the headshots to get that kind of real output of damage. You're frontlining right now. Let your tank go in. Yep, there you go. There you go. Not really sure why they're backing up, like, and not going in here. That might be why. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of your guys' team comp at the moment. You guys don't really have anything for the Ramatra. It would have, I actually wouldn't have minded, the Junkrat staying just to deal with the Ramatra when he ults, because a Junkrat tire is a hard counter to Ramatra ult. What was that lamp?
Reality bends to my will.
Ultimate's almost ready. Ça, c'est possible sur votre tête.
Team Valhalla.
Let them up.
I shot through the window. Yeah, these windows these lamps are getting really away from you. I'm not sure what you're trying to do with those lamps, but you gotta throw them down at the ground. That was an ugly round. You guys never even took the point once. Okay, so we're back on Moira. The Junkrat's back, and now we have a Bastion and a Roadhog, so quite a different team here. So when you have Roadhog, it's usually pretty important to have a Kiriko, because Roadhog typically will force an Anna into the enemy team comp if there isn't one. I don't know if this enemy team here will do it. Normally they do though. And that's what makes Kiriko so important.
Receive my aid. A taste of poison.
Careful not to frontline. Your orbs can do the poking.
Need a moment to recharge. Oh, a sip for the parched.
So normally what I like to do in a situation like this, where I need I need ammo for my healing, is I tell my team I'm out or I'm low on healing juice. I need to poke, and if we can move up a bit so that I can do that, you know. I mean, that's a little wordy, but like I might say like move up. I need to, you know, I need to build up some heal juice or something, or I'm low. Like don't take damage for a little bit or something. But somewhere along the way, a communication to your team needs to come out that says you're low on heal juice, because without that, you guys are going to get rolled over. Once you get to about half, then you're kind of good to just fall back again. And the one nice thing I will say for a buff to Moira was that damage orb giving her heal juice ammo again. That was always something I felt like a Moira should have had from day one. So it's nice to actually have that in there, and it does make her a little bit more viable than she used to be, but I'm still pretty low on her in a general sense, and in the current way this game plays. Good kill on the soldier, good kill on the sim. So, you guys are going to lose the point on the next fight because they have 3 ultimates and your team has none. And here come the ultimates. Heal as best you can, but you guys are in trouble. Yep. All the ultimates come out, and then you lose the point. So, your Roadhog... Oh, wow, your Roadhog ulted. What the heck? That's a terrible ult. So you guys have to go in on a dry run now to try to build ultimates, and then on the fight after that, then you start ulting. Unless a pick, you know, gets hit, you guys get a pick and you can move in under that. Assuming that doesn't happen. Just heal as best you can, heal as best you can. So, I don't know, yeah, I don't know about that ultimate. I think you should have held that one a little bit. I heard, what did I just hear for an ultimate? I thought I just heard another one. Maybe I'm hearing things. If it were me, I'd probably start looking at maybe using my ult right here. What happened? Yeah, so you guys weren't able to really deal with the Pharah. The Pharah was like really what screwed you guys up there. So, okay, number one. You know, I had a thought toward the end of this game, and it doesn't say if you're actually playing on PC or not, and I just assumed that you were. So, if you're playing on PC, keyboard, mouse. Get on a keyboard and mouse. If you're not, you didn't state you're on a console. So I'm assuming you're playing controller on a PC. So that's number one. Number two, alt timing. Some of them were pretty decent, but I felt like in round 1 you did one a little prematurely. On round 3, your ult was definitely premature. That last one that you did should have been held a bit. And then in terms of number 3, your BAP lamps to, I'm just going to say GRD for ground. But your BAP lamps, you just kind of yeet them and they just go flying off into the sunset. So you got to aim those to the ground, throw them down below, like at the ground. So hopefully this VOD review was helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.